Hey everyone, today is going to be first of many Azure projects that I'm going to be adding to this channel. And I'm going to keep it really short and sweet today. Really, we're going to design a hybrid networking environment where on prem networks can connect securely to Azure resources using Azure's networking capabilities. And we want to just assure that data can connect together and the on-prem resources or on-prem network they have access to Azure resources. So we're going to do that. We're going to use a few different things. We're going to use a VPN gateway. We're going to set up a network security group. We're going to use Azure Bastion, private link, DNS, and load balancing configurations as well. So let's jump right in. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is create a resource. We're going to start to set up um, our VPN gateway here. So I'm going to get on down here to the gateway. Then we're going to go ahead and get that created, but that's going to allow encrypted traffic between on-prem network and in Azure as well. So we'll give it a name here, but just essential just for hybrid environment. Make sure that that data is secure when it's being transmitted over the internet. So um, we'll just go with a basic SKU, same generation, and then I actually did not create my virtual network, so we'll need to do that. Okay. And so setting up a virtual network I found is actually pretty easy. Just giving it a name. I already created a resource group, and then I'm just gonna leave the default address range the same as it is there. I don't want to mess anything up there, but I will add in just a name of my subnet, and then I'll give it an address range there. So 10.0.1 0/24. But that's kind of the foundation of the entire really network of all my Azure resources, just having a virtual network. So it'll always have different subnets, different segments, different types of resources for how to manage things better, better security. So now we got that associated, that network gateway, got that associated with my virtual network. Okay, the subnet address range, got that going. And I'll just give the public IP address just a name for my virtual network gateway. So this actually, it took a while actually to create. I didn't realize it was going to take 30-45 minutes. I guess they were correct about that. So it actually took quite some time. I think what I'm going to do after I create this gateway is I'll probably split this up into two parts too later on, do the private link, the DNS stuff a little bit later. So now we got the network gateway going. So the next thing we want to do is create a local network gateway as well. And so with the local network gateway, that's kind of our on-prem gateway. So we're going to get that created. So we'll keep that just in the same resource group, same region, okay, same region. Okay. And then we'll just give this a name. So we'll say my local gateway. Keep that the same. I'll just make up an IP address for this thing here. I had some issues with this earlier. Wasn't really sure what to do, but it was kind of tough to figure out. Kind of going through this thing, I didn't really understand what border gateway protocol was at first. Um, going through creating this thing, so and I kept getting some errors here. So I just kind of created just a public IP. I think once this gets created, I'll go into the downloading the configurations for this too. But this was kind of tough at first. I had to kind of re-record this a couple different a couple different times. So get the local network gateway actually created here. Right, and then obviously we need to connect these. So we'll go to connection, and of course just adding it to the same resource group actually makes this a little easier. We want a site-to-site connection, of course, because we're connecting an on-prem to a cloud, and we'll give it a name. We'll just call it connection site-to-site. Just make it really easy, but that is how we secure that tunnel which data will flow between an on-prem and an Azure environment is how we connect that. So we'll associate it with my gateway, the local gateway. We'll put a shared key in there. I left all this stuff the same. Just didn't want to mess with this thing yet, but then we can see if you scroll down here, the shared key. Please hire me, Brian. Figured you'd get a laugh out of that. We'll get that created as well. Okay. And then so the next thing, meaning that we have all these things connected and what have you. Of course, we had to set up some different rules here. So I'll go into network security group, and I already have one created. I just kind of want to go in and just to kind of show the setup, but setting up the same resource group, you'll give it a name, of course. You'll set up a region, and then you'll review and create. It's rather simple. So again, I already have one created, but this is how you control inbound and outbound traffic to resources within your virtual network. Now I'll go in here and I'll associate my security group with my subnet inside of the virtual network that I already created there. Okay. And I went into the inbound outbound security rules. I created one for outbound. I just went ahead and I'm just going to delete this. I just didn't want to mess up with any the default allows or the default denies, just because this is an example. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a bastion. That's how we securely manage our virtual machines in our VNet without exposing them to the public internet. Okay, so just another layer of just defense, a layer in depth, zero trust. So we'll associate it with the resource group. We'll give the bastion a name. And as I was kind of reading through and going through the AZ900, this is how we give secure and seamless remote desktop access as well to my virtual machines. So that was pretty interesting to read about. So associated with virtual network, and we'll create that. And again, like I mentioned, I'll kind of these things kind of take a while to create. So I'll make a second part to this video with private link, and probably I'll do DNS setting up a load balancer as well. Okay. But first, a minute.